Hello and welcome to the Business of Meeting podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rozenberg. Over the years, I've had the privilege of helping businesses in the meetings and event industry grow and succeed. And I'm excited to share that experience with you. If you feel alone and overwhelmed, and if you're looking to take your business to the next level, improve your strategy and sales, and connect with like-minded professionals, you are in the right place. I invite you to visit eventbusinessformula.com and join our community of event business owners dedicated to exponential growth. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Business of Meeting podcast. Today, I want to speak about something absolutely essential if you want to be successful at anything you're doing, and that is accountability. Let me first share an example with you when it comes to the difference between putting a plan together and making sure that it's executed with accountability. And that goes back to the time when I was a student in business back in Belgium. I would do a wonderful plan for the exams, how many pages that I needed to study, how many topics. And you have to know one thing that's important for the rest of the story, that the exams will last until the end of June, not the end of May, beginning of June, like it is in the US. So until the end of June. So I would make a perfect plan, which topic I was going to study, how many pages per day. And when I had finished my plan, it's almost the feeling that I was done, although I haven't started studying yet. And the lost opportunity in my case is the fact that Roland Garros, the international tennis championship in Paris, was actually in the middle of June. And I love tennis, so I was watching that a lot, which kind of jeopardized a little bit the planning I had made for the studying. So you see clearly the difference between having a plan and executing the plan successfully and being accountable for it. Now, move forward later in my life, I had the opportunity to lead the student organization in Belgium, the Belgian chapter of ISA, and students in economics and business. And the great thing is that we had an advisory board. So we had the head of recruitment of all the major Fortune 100 companies that were sponsoring us. And basically, every board meeting that we had every 3 months, we had to report what we were doing, explain the challenges we were facing, speak about the goal we had set for our year, and making sure that we can correct course in due time. And let me tell you that we didn't want, and I didn't want to show up in front of our board of advisors telling them that we hadn't done what we were supposed to. So that was a great motivator, if you see what I mean. And I actually applied that the day I started my first business. With my very first business, I put together an advisory board. I had the head of Hilton Hotel in Brussels. I had a friend who was working with the largest recruiting executive search firm. I had a friend who was working with the largest trade show organizer. I had a friend who was specialized in helping entrepreneurs, and have different people from our industry and outside of our industry. And every 6 months, I would bring them together. I would expose to them what I was working on, what I said that I was working on, what were the objectives, where I was. I was explaining the challenges. I was asking for their feedback. And I made sure that I had people from our industry and outside of our industry. And I do remember once, probably the second year, I had this friend who was in my advisory board who said, Eric, I have to tell you something. I'm quite impressed because you coming in front of us and you are basically getting naked in front of us, which is good for you to expose all the good thing that you're doing, but also the challenges that you have. But actually, very few people would do that. And I was kind of surprised. I was very grateful that you would say that, but I was very surprised because they were helping me being accountable. They were helping me making sure that I was focusing on what was important, that I had goals that are clearly defined, and that I had put all my energy in achieving those goals. So the question is, how do you, as a small business owner in the meetings and event industry, how do you make sure that you are creating accountability for yourself. How do you make sure that you yourself are accountable, even if you don't have to publish quarterly results with analysts looking at it and asking a question? Well, let me give you a few ideas on how you can become accountable. The first one is the bullet journal. I'm using it for, I don't know, probably 6, 7 years. I have the different from previous year, and I basically look at what I want to be achieving throughout the year, and then I work backwards. If I want to achieve this, in this case, let's say by the end of 2025, what needs to happen by the summer? What needs to happen by the end of March, the first quarter? What needs to happen by the end of the month? What needs to happen each week and each day? And what I do is that I go to this journal, this bullet journal, and I looked at it on a regular basis. Let me tell you what are the moment I'm looking at it. And I'm just going to get a sip of water. If not, I won't be able to finish that. Here we are. So every month, I prepare for the following month. I look at what needs to happen that month, the big goals, when I'm going to be traveling, when I'm going to be away. And then every week, every Sunday night, I spend 30 minutes to an hour looking at the entire week, looking at what are my goals for this week, looking at the different days, and then translating that into my Outlook calendar for those using Google. Same principle. I have an overview on the paper, and then I translate that on my online calendar. And also, it's a topic I've talked about in the past. I also look to be aligned with my ideal week. So going back to the journal, I look every week what needs to happen. And then every day, every night before going to sleep, or when I switch off from working, I look at the next day. And I do two things. First, I look at what are the three things I need to be doing the next day so that my day will be successful. How am I going to win the day? Second, I set my alarms for everything, even including Zoom call or Teams call or Google Meet calls. What I do, and I put the alarm 10 minutes before. Why? Because let's say that you and I have a call at 10 o'clock, and at 9:50, somebody's calling me or somebody's getting into my office and we start talking. And next thing you know, it's 10:05 and I'm late. And I hate being late. So I put those alarms for every meeting. If I have to go and travel and drive an hour, I will give myself a buffer and leave on time. But it's basically looking at it every day. So that's how I use my bullet journal. That's how I use my paper journal, and linked it, of course, with the online calendar. The second thing that I have to keep me accountable is an accountability buddy. It is a friend. Greg and I are meeting every Monday afternoon, a set time. If we cannot meet in person, we'll do it on Voxer, but we'll make sure that we'll explain all the three things we said we were going to do the previous week and all the things that we are going to do the following weeks. And we have to explain that. It's not enough to say, I've done it. We have to show it. So that's the accountability buddy. And that's someone, can be your industry or not in your industry, but it's someone that want good for you and you want good for them, and you pair each other. And we've been doing that for many years now. I don't even remember when we started. The third idea that can help you being accountable to yourself is actually to reward yourself when you reach an important milestone. Let's say that you want to put together a automated calendar scheduling link, and when that is done, then you reward yourself. Well, let's say that you want to make sure that you're reaching out to a certain number of clients by the end of the month. When you do that, you reward yourself. It's those little elements, little milestone that you're rewarding yourself that is also going to keep you accountable. And by the way, it is also very good to tell the world what you're going to be doing. Tell your family or tell your kids that I commit by next month to do this. And trust me, if it's somebody that counts for you, you are going to remember that, and you're going to be willing to do everything's possible to achieve that goal, and then reward yourself for having reached that milestone. Another option you want use is make it visible. When you put, like, for instance, this thermometer in your office, this is the goal for the year, and graduating every milestone when you reach them, changing the color is very visible. You can use a post-it by your mirror that you see every morning or evening, or you do that in your office. But the idea is to make it visible. You cannot escape it. You're going to see it. And another idea I want to share with you is using software. Obviously, there is software for project management. There is software helping you to keep track of tasks. You have CRM. You have different tools. What I'm talking about is specifically a software that will send you your message, your report every day. These are the goals that you have for the next 3 months, for this week, for the day. How are you coping with that? It's automated. Whether you're a small business owner, you're a solopreneur, you're managing a team of 30 people, it doesn't matter. This is also a tool that you can have. And obviously, using that tool and also having a coach is very helpful. I'm having several coaches for different aspects of my life, but definitely when it comes to accountability, I have my accountability buddy, and I have someone that's helping me when setting priorities. You can always be as good as you are, but when you have somebody looking at yourself from the distance, it's also very, very helpful. And that's what I'm using to become accountable. Do I succeed 100% of the time? No. Is there room for improvement? Always. And I can tell you that compared to when I was doing my planning for studying and then watching Roland Garros, the improvement has been spectacular as well as the results. And last but not least, I want to share with you a story of one of the person I was coaching. He was telling me that doing the sales was not exactly what he liked, that he was not good with it. And I said, but listen, this is your company. Yes, but I don't know. Sometimes I start selling and then the next day I don't do the follow up. And say, okay, why don't we do something? For a month, every night, you're going to send me a message to say, here is the number of phone calls that I've made today. And you have to make a minimum of 5. And guess what? After more than less than 3 weeks, more than 2 weeks, he was already excited with the results it was having. The pipeline was getting full. It was already getting appointments. And by the end of the month, he had already improved the results in his sales. Does it open overnight? No. Is it something complicated? I don't think so. You have to be really systematic. You have to be accountable. And if you're like me, get some help, get the results, get accountable. It will impact your motivation, definitely your mental health and wellness, and you would get results and continue to develop your business. Hope it's helpful. Accountability is the most important thing that you can think of to execute on your plan and get results. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to take some time and help you solve at least your major challenge so that you're becoming accountable and getting further in your business. Thank you, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Business of Meeting podcast. I hope you found today's episode valuable. If you enjoyed the show, the most important thing you can do is leave a review and share it with your colleagues. It really helps spread the word. I truly appreciate your support. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, don't forget to visit eventbusinessformula.com to learn more about how we are helping even business owners like you. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.